And just like that, we are live for the first time in a hot minute. Holy moly, I can't even remember the last time I actually streamed. And I'm doubled up on audio. There, we're back. Cool. Sweet. It is so good to be back, guys. It's been definitely some stuff I've been dealing with over the last while, which is why you have not seen me streaming or doing really videos over the last bit. And I'm not really in a place that is conducive for videos, so which is why you're going to see an audio only stream today. But that's not going to change a thing. We're going to be diving into a whole lot today, doing an AMA on PulseChain, HEX, PulseX, Hedron, icosa, and whatever other questions you guys have. I see there's already about 20 of you guys piling in here, which is awesome to see. I've missed actually interacting with you guys. So I see Big Boy, Godfather J6, Tommy Villay's. We got David up in here, Mr. Hartman, Obada, Ted Nelson, and Tommy Villay's says, Cryptographics, we missed you, man, especially your strategy videos. So good. You're my fave PulseChain, PulseX streamer, and I watch them all. Welcome back, Big Dog. Hey, I appreciate that. It's definitely been a minute, and I'm stoked to start talking a lot more crypto over the next while. We got Obada in here. I hope I'm saying that right. Obada? I think it's Obada. That sounds better to me. What up, Hex Glenn? And I think we're a little loud here, actually. Let me turn myself down on the mic. We got Crystal Seth. Oh, man. I can't see the emoji, but I like it already. Warfield says hello. We got Ram Loss. Salute from Texas. We got JB. We got Jordan. Hotel Echo X-Ray. I hope I said your name. Say my name. I said your name. Your DGen. Dougie. We got Shane. Shane, brother. Good to see you, man. Hope you're having I guess it's morning for you right now. Hope you're having a great day, man. Hope you have a great morning. We got Alex Sutton. Man, I could welcome everyone back in here. It's awesome to be back and seeing all the comments and seeing you guys welcome me back like this. So there's a whole lot going on right now. I mean, PulseChain's close, it seems. You got V3 seeming like it's right around the corner. We've got so much going on with Hedron and icosa. We've got ceilings that are not being met. We've got HEX prices pumping. The market's going crazy. Like, I don't know what's going to happen with these banks. So right away, guys, what I'd love, if you have questions for this stream, because I have kind of an agenda I want to go through here, but it's going to be very loose. And if you guys have questions, throw them in the chat. I will be taking them and starring them. And as they come up, I will be answering them and getting them, basically just getting them answered in order as we go through things like Hedron, icosa, PulseX, PulseChain, HEX, all that good stuff. So, and I see the Richard Hart Max in the chat. What's up, my brother? Good to see you in here. And yes, sponsored by Universal Audio. As is it icosa Hydrologist 101? Hydrologist? It's this thing. Oh no, it's Nomad. That's right. It's Nomad. It says that. Let's see here. And also, guys, so if you hadn't heard already, I know I did a video recently, but I am super stoked. There is a book out if you haven't heard of it. So I'm going to share my screen in a sec here and just show you guys kind of what I've been up to. If you've missed it, let me just share my screen. And we're going to go to let's go to this guy here. So one of the reasons why I did take a bit of a break in the beginning was for working on this bad boy, which the first version of it came out, and I love this version because it's very nicely formatted on a computer specifically for the diagrams that are on here in the flowcharts, but it's not really conducive to reading on your phone so well. So it also isn't available in this format in a book, and the book is awesome. The book is actually available, and I'm going to bring this up right now, on Amazon. And Crypto Vince and I had finished it not too long ago. We had a gentleman step up and offer to publish it, and now we have an actual book on Amazon promoting PulseChain, PulseX, HEX, and more. It costs $2.82 Canadian, 28 cents for the paperback or hardcover. And if you have the ability to pick one up to support Crypto Vince and I, and just to help, even if you want to just go and write a review, let's get this on the front page of Amazon together and get HEX, PulseChain, PulseX, Hedron, icosa, and this whole ecosystem that Richard Hart's created on the front page. But I don't want to come on here and just shill I'm not here to just chill my stuff. Just wanted to make sure that everyone saw that and was able to get their hands because it's free or paid, whatever way you want to go. And it's just an option. So yeah, thanks for the shout out, RH. Appreciate you reminding me about that again. And Raphael, it's great to see you in here as well. Let's go through. Let's switch this up. I'm going to talk quickly, guys, about the Hedron and icosa ecosystem, and let's start there. There's a lot to look at. There's so much going on. Where's my share screen here? It is here. And real quick, I see some questions rolling in, so I'm just going to pause and I'm just going to star some of the best or some of the questions. Let's see. Touchdowns and depegging. Okay, gotcha. Let's see if there's any more. Awesome. Oh, okay. I see this. I like your comment there, RH. Okay, sweet. All right, we're stepping into it. Let's go. So right now, guys, Hedron and icosa is a lot going on. So, I mean, there's the price chart. I'm going to pull up on Trading View or on, let's go Dex Screener. And let's go to, I'll bring it up on another tab. And so one of the great things, if you're new to this ecosystem, so what this is, real quick rundown for anyone that's I'm assuming all of you at this point pretty much know what Hedron icosa is, so I'm not really going to dive there. But this is an ecosystem that allows you to get more tokens from your HEX stakes, stake that to get more tokens to get both the token you staked that was free and other tokens. And there's auctions. It's basically a whole financial system kind of in one little corner here. So the beautiful thing about this is, as HEX is going up right now, because HEX is, let's just see, what is the price of HEX at the moment? I think it's like $8 $8. Whew, I wish. We all wish. HEX USDC pair is sitting at 8 cents, almost 8.1. So right now, HEX is 8 cents. People are buying. So let's look at this here. So 154,000 HEX staked 5555 for 20 T shares, and 3 billion is the bid that won it. So my question is, how much is 3 billion? So how much is 3 billion Hedron and how much is 154,000 HEX? So I'm going to bring my calculator up, and I'm sorry guys that you can't see this. I'll do the math here real quick. So let's go 154,342 times 0.08. So it's $12,347.36. That's how much that HEX is worth. And Hedron, I think it's at 0.02. Actually, let me just share my screen total here so that you guys can see everything I'm looking at. Let's go stop screen share. Let's present again. And let's do window, entire screen. Yeah, let's do entire screen. Let's do it. All right. So I'm just going to close some tabs here real quick. And let's delete that, and that, and we're good. Cool. So HEX is at 8 cents and still looking like it's pretty strong, which, man, I hope this thing keeps going. And with all the good news, I wouldn't be surprised when it does. If we go to Hedron, though, what is Hedron sitting at right now? So 2250 and 2268. So let's go down to the calculator. So remember this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 7. Okay. So we go now 0.123452268 times 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 is equal to, so that is like 50% off, a little bit less, or a little bit more than, or a little bit less than 50% off. But still, someone got 154,000 HEX. So 6,800. Let's do, so 6,804. Let's do some math here and figure out exactly what the price of that was. So now we're going to go 154,342 divided by, or hold on, 6,804 divided by 154,342 That means this person got 154,000 hex for 4.4 cents. 4.4 cents. Guys, the Hedron ecosystem is giving people access to cheap hex. That's almost 50% off the current hex price. And the reason why this is still important, even though you're seeing 5 days here, is because you have options with these stakes. They are HSIs, meaning, yes, you could go ahead and sell them back for icosa, if the ceiling price comes back or it makes more sense to do so. And we'll talk about that later. But that's option numero no. Numero two is you can actually go ahead and you can sell it on NFT marketplace. And I think, let's see, Hex marketplace. You can do this one. Hex market. So there are people that are selling their HSIs. I think this is the right one. I think they're on OpenSea. I thought there was a bunch of stuff here. Let's go marketplace. But either way, basically you can go to like OpenSea or Hex Market and you could sell these HSIs for USDC. And there's nothing here I see. So OpenSea, let's go to OpenSea. Get out of here. Hex staking instance. So check this out, guys. 0.14 T shares. Look, you can go and you could sell your Hex stakes on OpenSea as an NFT. And this is another way this is the cool thing about this. Now you could look at this like, well, if you want to buy Hex, yeah, maybe you want to push the price up as you're doing it. But I mean, if you're doing bigger orders, this is kind of a way to avoid slippage in a way and get a deal. So but the thing is, these HSI deals won't last forever. Like, it's impossible. The reason the deals are so good right now is because the Hedron price is so low, because icosa price is so low, because as these prices climb over time, and we'll talk about the reasons why I believe that's going to happen. As these climb over time, the minimum bid value goes up. Like, let's go back to the window here. So we go back to the auctions, and we are looking at the final bid. Let's look at the minimum bid. So the minimum bid is 1.1 million. So let's go 111 621 or 621 times 0.0000022, I guess. That's $2.45 for 1,400 hex. Okay, that's the minimum bid. 1,400 hex times point. Oh, let's just do this way. 1,400 times 0.08. I messed something up there. Times 0.08. $112. So the minimum bid currently, because of the price discrepancy, which is about 50 something X away, which is like 97, 98% down, you're getting $112 in hex for $2.45 is the minimum bid. Now, what happens here is, as Hedron over time, two things are going to happen here. Either as Hedron's price climbs or the price of hex climbs, and I actually think that there's a better chance that we see the price of Hedron rise because the hex price rises than Hedron forcing the whole ecosystem to work better because the Hedron price rises first. Now, the reason being is when hex starts to rise to a price where it is unattainable to get 154,000 hex for the majority of people, when it becomes $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 to get 100,000 hex, to get 150,000 hex, or even when it costs $700 or $600 to get 1,400 hex, these are going to start to be meaningful amounts of hex, and there's going to be more people that are going to start to find out about this if streams like this and a lot of the people that are streaming about Hedron and icosa and this whole ecosystem keep talking about it. Once 1666 hex becomes like $800 or $500, $600, people are going to be coming here, and these amounts of hex become meaningful. And so there's going to be a need for Hedron, because these stakes are still, like I just showed you, they're still able to be extracted in terms of value from, or you can still extract value from them, even if they're a 5555 stake, without actually waiting the full 15 years. I mean, heck, you could spend the money on this, and if you get a little bit of a deal, you still can get 1600 hex and wait 7.5 years. And who knows what the price of hex will be at that point. I mean, like with everything we're seeing right now, as far as what the bank's doing, what the macroeconomic environment's doing, what's happening within crypto. I mean, like if hex is the DeFi solution that a lot of us believe it is to a lot of the DeFi, or the problems that are fake DeFi, that are the problems fake DeFi is creating, then who knows what 1600 hex is going to be worth, you know? So there's a lot to consider here. It's not just 15-year stakes. Like, yes, these are longer term stakes if you plan on waiting them out, but they're also able ways to get your hands on funds sooner as well. It just depends on other factors that like assuming USDC sticks around, or I mean, like if there's LUSD, so they have like liquidity USD, that might be able to, or maybe more concentrated in terms of liquidity. When PulseChain goes live, everything's going to change. It's a whole nother conversation, but I'm going to pause there. I've been rambling a whole hell of a lot, and let's just pause and see what everyone's saying here. So I start a bunch of questions. I'm going to look for some Hedron and icosa stuff. Let's see. I'm going to stop this for a moment. Let's see. Your opinion. Let's see what I got with the Hedron icosa stuff. Right. Okay. Yeah. So Warfield, great question. Tell us your thoughts on icosa depegging from a ceiling. You have mentioned it on Twitter. Yeah. So there is, now I'm going to bring up deck screener again, and we're going to talk about, what's been happening here with icosa specifically. We'll go to the icosa hex pair, actually, the icosa USDC pair, and let me just share my window again. Okay. So I've got this bad boy here. Okay. Let me just get the right chart going. All right, so this is the ratio here. Let me get which one is the right one I want to show you guys here. Hold on. Let me find the right one. Sorry, guys. It always takes me a moment to find this one. It's this one. Right. Okay, here we go. So at this point right here, where was it? October. Actually, this isn't even the right one either. Okay, I'm just gonna avoid this one here. So basically, what happened, guys, was in the beginning phase of icosa, as many of you know, due to the way that icosa yield is generated, there was bound to be an excessive amount of yield for those staked either in the Hedron staking pool or the icosa staking pool. Now, what happened was many of these stakers, well, all I'm going to say here, I'm going to caveat this. Everything I'm saying is my thoughts. None of this is like why it happened per se, but this is why I believe we're seeing what we're seeing with icosa depegging. So initially, when the first round of auctions happened, there was a ton of yield, right? Now, a lot of those got recycled, and there was this arbitrage of taking advantage of, or basically profiting, because people were getting super deals on hex stakes, and they were also able to then take those hex stakes because icosa was at its ceiling and extract a ton of value from icosa and sell it for profit. So that was the first hit that we saw as people continuously did that over the first period of, I guess, the wave of auctions hit. And we saw the price tumble and tumble and tumble and tumble. And then it recovered a bit. And then the first set of icosa stakes came out right at the same time as the next wave came out. And this was a cyclical thing that started to happen because at first we had the 90-day stakes that came out. Then we had the 180-day stakes that came out, which helped us take a big dive in price again. And coming up, I think it is on May, like middle of May, sometime. I can't remember the exact date, but there's going to be the sharks. So the 270-day stakes that have not restaked from day one that are going to be unstaking. Now, this is going to happen, I think, in my opinion, for the next couple 90-day cycles, if not maybe one or two more. Only reason this is not really a big deal, in my opinion, is because this is like a distribution phase for icosa. The people who want to take advantage of a system and its early hyperinflation that it gives are not going to stay in the system long term. So where are the tokens going to go to? Well, they're either going to go to liquidity pools and stay there forever, or they're going to go to people that believe in the project and see long term just how beneficial being able to generate Hedron from your icosa stake is. And we'll talk about that in a moment. But mainly, I believe this is a bigger part of a just distribution or coin distribution phase. It's a period of hyperinflation. There's disproportionate amounts of yield for dollars input into the staking pool in icosa. And this will not last forever. It will not. So one thing to keep in mind too, because I've heard a lot of people talking about why icosa it doesn't really have a purpose outside of generating more icosa. Well, let me ask you a question. When the auctions are really, really popular, because HEX is so obscenely priced and Hedron is really, really rare. It's hard to get your hands on because HEX is very expensive, and generating even 1 million Hedron from a stake is actually quite difficult, especially from a short stake. How likely do you think it is that those who stayed in the icosa system are going to be able to get the most Hedron yield from auctions or from defaulted HSIs if HSIs are getting recycled in the future at all? I think that there's a very, very likely chance that we see a very, very important role that icosa plays in the future. Right now, this is, in my opinion, and this is not advice, this is not anything other than just speculation, but I believe this is a very important time for coin accumulation in icosa. And seeing icosa and the whole Hedron system, the whole icosa staking system and Hedron staking system and the auctions, if you're looking further than a few months out, you're going to see, hopefully, something similar to what I see. And right now, all these coins, these tokens are so low in their price. Like Hedron is about 97 or 8% off. And you know what? In fact, let's go to look into Hedron. Shout out to Crypto Sloth for the amazing website he built on Anvil. He's got charts, everything on there. Let's open that up. So let's go to look into Hedron. And so right now, check this out. So Hedron is 56.3x down from ceiling. That's like 97% plus down. Icosa is like 70% down roughly. And these aren't going to last forever. Like 98% down from its ceiling. That is, and then being able to use that to gain so much more in the auctions, like that's not going to last forever. This is going to be, at least in my opinion, a very temporary price position we're going to see from both of these things. And maybe there's a chance that they last months more, but I do think that if we see HEX continue to climb, that the auctions and the icosa staking system are going to become more and more, as Maxim would say, meaningful. And I love that word because it's true. Like getting a number of HEX that you can get now is going to be far more difficult after even a 2 or 3x in the HEX price. which that's only 24 cents or 16 cents. That's not far away. So I hope that answers the question to a small degree. I know I said a lot there. Let me just check in real quick with what the chat's saying here. And then once I catch up, I'll go back into some questions. Let's see here. Um, I got the room. Oh, I see. Yeah, I got the acoustic panels. Yeah. Like I said, the reason I don't have a camera right now is because I am in a place that is not conducive to video and I have not set up a studio or anything in it. So yeah, it's probably pretty echoey. So sorry guys. I apologize about that. And thank you, Shane. It's good to be back. And feels nice to be streaming and helping you guys out and just telling you my thoughts and bouncing ideas off one another. Let's see here. Warfield, again on the same topic. Any suggestions for devs who could build on icosa to add more use cases, such as Hedron burning via auctions? I've thought about it a little bit, but I think I'm not sold on the idea that icosa needs something. I think what it needs is time. I think that's what it needs. I mean, I had thought about the idea of like an ISI or like I'll call it like, which is hilarious, like a HESI, so like Hedron staking instance or icosa staking instances, and then have whole other like auctions behind that. But I don't think that would actually work. Um, and so really, I don't see another option. I mean, I'm not a dev. Like I'm not a guy that's at the level where I could probably produce something like that as an idea. Um, but I have thought a little bit about it, and I don't necessarily think that it needs anything at this moment in time. Let's see here. Do, 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 do. Oh, I'm way behind it. I think I'm way behind. Hey, thanks, Ted. Yeah, Crypto Bible is a great one-stop shop to review and to explain to no coiners for onboarding info. That was the point. I wanted to work from the ground up and make it so that way if you're a complete beginner or you're advanced, you could just skip the beginning stuff that I put in there and get right to like Hex, Hedron, icosa, Synergy, all those, and really get into it, or you could start from the beginning and learn from the ground up if you don't even know what a blockchain is or you don't even know what smart contracts are. So it's I'm proud of that. I'm really happy that Crypto Events and I really could put that together and put that out there to help everyone. So Igor says, anyone built a tool for splitting icosa Hedron up into multiple wallets for minimum stake length and auto restaking? I don't know. Not that I know of. Not that I know of. All right. And I said I'm just going to touch on the final comments here. Let's see. Hey, appreciate that, Paul. Thank you. All right, let's go to the started comments. I think I talked a little bit mostly with Warfield. Okay, we're going to touch on, let me see. So last I checked, there's about a 4-to-1 difference. So for every dollar you put into icosa, you got 4 times more than whatever you'd get in the Hedron pool. But you'd have to do you have to invert the ratio for the time served to get that money. Hopefully that makes sense. But it's pretty good. It's like over 300% APY at the moment. I think to date, if you got in the beginning, you're at 150 or 60% yield and climbing. So, and that's not even including the Hedron stuff as well. So, definitely Hedron and icosa have been pretty sweet. Even though we're down like 70%, I think you're still even or up a little bit if you're in icosa and you've been in icosa stake from the beginning. All right, let's go to the very top here. So David says, now let's switch gears here and let's talk about top 5. We consider the top 5 ERCs that will be the best liquidity pools outside of Hex once the mainnet launches. I'm assuming you mean the deepest liquidity here is what I'm assuming. If you could clarify, David, in the chat, that'd be sick. I'm going to pause that. I'm going to wait for you to clarify. If you just mean, I'm not sure exactly what you mean there. So if you can clarify, I'll come back to your question and I'll answer it. Let's see here. Will HEX be a buy the rumor, sell the news event after mainnet? This is something that I'm juggling with too. I think to a degree, yes. I think all of these, if you look in history, like if you go to, let's go to the HEX chart for a second. And let's go to trading view. Go to HEX. 'Hex. 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 So, all right, if this loads, this would be sweet. Okay, so ignore all my drawings. I'm not a TA guy. I just like to pretend sometimes that I like to know. I like to pretend sometimes that I know what I'm doing. So here, I'm going to draw this out. Where is it? Doo-doo-doo. So right here, somewhere in here is where the pulse chain announcement was, right? So I think it was actually down here. And then we ran up, came down, and everyone thought pulse chain was going to go live, and kaboom. Then fast forward to December 21, everyone was like, "Oh, PulseX is going to go live." Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Maybe that means Pulse Chain's close. PulseX comes out, boom. Or PulseX Sacrifice comes out, it comes down, and it comes down. Everyone thought, "Oh my God, Pulse Chain's going to go live." Doesn't go live, boom, we tank. Now, this also happened if we look at Hedron. So, Hedron USDC. Oh, let's not do that. And let's just grab this tool here. So September. So this right here, August 15th. This was the day that the icosa staking platform was launched. Now there was another pump after this, but see how there was a big dump here from basically the wick. There was like a 60% dip, a little bit more because I missed the top of the wick there, but still like 60% down off the top. So really, like even this was buy the hype, sell into it. You know, if you got the 10x bonus at the very beginning of Hedron, and so what I'm saying here is, I don't know for sure. No one knows for sure, but if we look historically, that has usually happened. You know, when there is a bigger announcement, there oftentimes is a buy the rumor, sell the news type of event. And the thing is, though, with this is the buy the rumor, sell the news didn't have necessarily the same post news draw to other investors, you know, other people, other users looking to get in as Pulse Chain could, you know, and who knows what's going to happen in the interim here as far as exposure to Hex on Ethereum. Who knows what's going to happen as far as like institutional investors, who's going to start buying. But Pulse Chain has a massive implication as far as how much you could make and or how the opportunities, I should say. So when it comes down to it, I think it's very likely that there's a retracement when Pulse Chain launches. There's a few reasons for that. Now, one of them is just going to be people exiting to try and go across chain and to live on Pulse Chain because maybe they don't want to live on Ethereum anymore. But I think there are far fewer users who are, I'd say there's a likely or there's a higher probability that most users that migrate are smaller users. And there's a lot of traders that are going on right now or that are using this ecosystem right now. So I have a feeling that those traders are still going to be utilizing this opportunity. So yes, to answer the question, but I'm uncertain as to the impact or the downside after the buy the or the sell the news comes out. I really don't know. I really don't, because there's going to be a lot of exposure on Hex period with Pulse Chain coming out and it being centered around Richard Hart. So I'm unsure. I'm unsure. Hopefully that answers your question. Let's just check back with the chat real quick here. Let's see. Paul Sachs, thanks, brother. Great stream. Appreciate you, man. Warfield's got another one. I'm going to star that. I'll get a copy. Yes. For everyone that's wondering about Pulse Chain, yes, you will get a copy of your staked Hex. You get a copy of it staked. You get a copy of it in HSI form. You get a copy of it liquid. Does not matter what form. All Hex, wherever it lies in a wallet, in a liquidity pool. Well, I mean, that's a different story potentially. It'll be copied, and then depending on the liquidity side of things, there might be some stuff that happens to it. But if it's in your wallet or you've staked it, it will get copied in the exact same form that you have it. Do you think there'll be icosa parity on Pulse Chain? Since transaction fee is cheaper in Pulse, there might be more HSI auctions. I think there is the possibility that icosa outperforms, or icosa on Pulse, or yeah, Pulse icosa outperforms ETH icosa, and same with Hedron. That's a long conversation. Maybe I'll get to that later. I'm gonna star this, and maybe we'll get to that in a bit. Let's see here. What else we got? Yo, Chase. Good to see you again, man. Good to see you back. Think we will bottom the HEX chart once more than the traders realize PLS launch delays until September to December timeframe. It could happen. I mean, here's the thing. I have a sneaking suspicion that this is a long recession, but I don't know how it's going to impact crypto. You know what I mean? Like Fed now or whatever that CBDC coin or platform they're going to release. And I haven't done much research on this, so sorry if I'm just butchering it. But that's coming out in July. And I don't know what that's going to mean for crypto. I do think there's a positive impact on crypto because many people could see it as a hell no situation as far as where they want their money to go. And it's a possibility, but I don't know. So, I mean, I don't really know that. I'm not so certain that Pulse delays until September or December. Like, unless something drastic changes or happens, then I mean, I just can't see it. Yeah, I think this is more accurate, like 100, like 3 or 4 months away, I could see. But that's tops for me at the moment. And that could change day by day. If a single tweet comes out or any other information comes out, this changes. But I mean, that's my thoughts. I think we're a few months out. With V3 coming out, we probably need about a month or so, because this is technically like the first iteration of Pulse Chain testnet after the ETH2 code has been utilized. So I can't imagine that there isn't a period of testing that needs to be done to make sure. It's not like V3 was supposed to be, it's not like what V3 was supposed to be before, where V3 was supposed to come out and it was supposed to be like the final version. And then like within a week, or I can't even remember how long it was supposed to be because it's been so long since that information was out, then Mainnet would go live. Well, I think this is going to be a different story because it's ETH2, it's Pulse Chain 2.0 essentially. And that's new code, at least in my opinion, if I were to speculate. So hopefully that answers your question there, Tommy Viles. And let's see here. Yeah, you guys, if you haven't already, appreciate it if you smashed the likes. If you haven't subscribed, you can go ahead and do that, please. It'd be sick to start building the viewer base up again and get us climbing in the viewership. Hopefully that answers your question as well. Shaddad123. And yeah, let's go back into start questions here. Let's see. Lots of Hedron icosa questions. I like this one. So the most simple way to get exposure to Pulse Chain if you missed the sacrifice. Well, if you missed the sacrifice, you're in a very, very large group of people. Now, I would advise you to just have funds ready, because if Pulse Chain goes live, I don't recommend, and this is not financial advice, this is just a guy telling you his thoughts. I think that it's very dangerous to play with the ratios. You don't know what they're going to be. We don't know what they're going to launch yet. We don't know. Like, I've done moon math, and I know Walrus and I have had similar opinions about like what the price of Pulse is going to be when it launches. And there's a deeper explanation to that price point that I released a while ago. But really what it comes down to is there's just too many variables that you can't keep track of, and it's dangerous. So in terms of, it could set you back very, very, very quickly and be pretty detrimental. Actually, let's bring up a chart, and yeah, let's bring up some math and some numbers and just show you how quickly things could go wrong. I think it's this one here. Let's see. Window, let's go this one. Sweet, just make sure we're live and it's working. Cool. So, and everyone can see that. Yeah, I think you guys can see that. So what this chart is showing you is that this is the ratios. So X is from PLS price, essentially. So a ratio, basically, if it's 2 to 1, that means PLSX is half the price or 50% down. Or it's like 2 to 1 ratio. It means PLSX has to do a 2X. to get to the same price as PLS, 3x, 4x, 5x, or 2 to 1, 3 to 1, 4 to 1, and 5 to 1. So let's look at 1 to 1. Okay. If the ratio of PLS to PLSX is 1 to 1, well, I mean, it's pretty obvious that even after 30x, 50x, or 100x. Okay, so one thing I want to say about this as well, the whole chart is based around PLS doing 100x. Okay, so it show you if you swapped your PLSX to PLS based on these ratios, what you'd be is in terms of profit after the PLS swap, after PLSX is a 30x, a 50x, and a 100x. And what's interesting is at even a 2 to 1 ratio, if PLSX does a 100x at any point, you're down 50% on the PLS swap. If on a 3 to 1 swap, PLSX does a 50x or a 100x, you're down between 33 and 67x. And it just gets worse as these ratios go on. And the problem is that you can't see you can't see the relation of these ratios to all the other tokens in real time quick enough to be able to make the decision to know if you're actually going to be in profit. So if you're going to ratio trade, know what you're doing, have a plan, and just accept your fate, whatever it turns out to be, if you're going to do that. But again, it's not my advice to you. I don't advise anyone ratio trade. To come back to the original question, is most simple way to get exposure to PulseChain is to simply have your funds on the side and make a decision. When you know PulseChain is going to go live, make a decision to, I mean, the first one is to have it copied over, right? That's the easiest way to do it, where you just have funds that you have sitting in, let's say, HEX, because HEX is just a solid, it's like the bet, really, the safe bet. It's like the racehorse that's probably going to win every time. So you bet on that racehorse and it'll get copied over. And you can use those funds on PulseChain because it's completely free. It's an airdrop, right? You can use those funds to get into PulseChain or PulseX, or specifically PulseChain for this matter. You use those funds, and you can use this for any other token. But the reason why you really don't want to use stable coins for this, I mean, stable coins have admin keys to begin with. So there's the risk with everything going on that like Circle or something like that gets wrecked. And I don't think this is likely, guys, but there is the chance that something happens and one of these stable coins get wrecked and you lose your funds, right? So the second part is, if people like stable coins, when it comes to the actual fork, those are all basically going to be worthless in a matter of seconds. Like everyone's going to dump those because they're not redeemable with Circle or USDT for anything. They are basically worthless copies that are going to be unsupported by the actual organizations. So unless you're planning to be on it and risk actually losing value at an exponential potential rate, holding stable coins is like not a good idea in my opinion. So holding something like HEX, something that's likely to have, a decent holder base, people that don't want to dump it, and is even likely to go up in value, in pre-bridge, there's a chance. That's something that you may want to consider. Alternatively, if you have dry powder or funds on the side, something that I would look into is there an exchange that is going to list Pulse on the exchange where you can go and buy it and you can basically on-ramp your dollars into directly? That may be another option. And I don't remember which one it is, but I heard rumors of a certain exchange that was looking to list it. And I can't remember exactly which one it is, but those are the three ways. I can't remember which ones I spoke of specifically. But yeah, that's my short, long answer for you there. Hopefully that answered it for you. Let's go back in the chat. I see there's a few other comments. I don't think EHEX and PHEX will be 1-to-1 in price. I think we might find a fixed ratio to stay at, like 1-to-2, for example, and they might just move in sync to keep the ratio. It's very, very probable. I was talking about this with someone recently about the probability of the likely chance of, let's say, HEX hitting like $15 on ETH and what that would take. If PulseChain becomes a safe haven for non-corporate, like VC, or I guess not VC, but basically non-big money, more retail money. I think we could see, assuming a lot of other things, which this is a huge explanation for this, so I won't really get into it here. But assuming that Ethereum Hex is like the solution that we talked about before for DeFi, we see a lot of major entities start to put money into it. I think that could support the price of Hex up to 1-to-1. But I mean, it depends. It could be 2-to-1. Richard Hart has come out and said, I don't want cheap Hex on any chain. And he supports Ethereum, and he's obviously going to support PulseChain. So if he's supporting those two, unlike the ETH Work and ETH Fair that he didn't support, he didn't care about what happened on those chains. So he didn't support it. We had stupid cheap Hex that kept going down. And I have a feeling that ETH Hex will be supported because it's the OG, it's the baby. Even if PulseChain is the newer, better, latest, greatest, shiny object, as far as even the PulseChain Hex, they're both Hex, and they both have value, and they both serve a purpose. And the system works the way that it was designed, no matter what the gas fees are. And so I think the investors that can afford it will go there. And I think there's a large market for those investors. So I'm not, basically all this to say, I'm not sold on the 1-to-2 example, or I could see it maybe dipping below for a bit, but I don't think it would be very long. I really don't. And you know what? I could be totally wrong here. I got no idea at the end of the day what I'm saying. This is just my thoughts based on everything I've heard, or just my own speculation. But at the end of the day, guys, I don't know. And none of us can know. So that's just my thoughts. You might be right as well. We might see a 1-to-2 ratio. We might see a 1-to-2 ratio. And I got to address a couple comments in the chat here. Alan, it's been so long, man. Good to see your name in here. Good to see everyone's names in here. It's been a minute. Crypto Freedom, good to see you as well. Man, my Canadian brother, I am doing much better. And I've just been on my own little grind, my own little search for a bunch of things, kind of like a healing process in a lot of ways, which has kind of thrown me for a loop. But I'm back, and I am super stoked to be streaming again. It feels really good to be back, actually. It really does. All right, let's go back into the comments here. So this is a great question. So it's fun to speculate, but no one knows. And there are a few answers that we can give that are, I guess, let me get this back a little bit here. There's a few answers that I can give that they sound good and they sound reasonable from a mathematical standpoint, but at the end of the day, nobody knows. My prediction at the time was, oh man, you know what? Let's do this real time. Let's do this today. Okay, so we'll have a little fun on stream here. I'm going to bring up my sheet, and we're going to see if PulseChain went live today, what would the price of PLS be in relation to HEX? Let's look that up right now. Drop a 1 in the chat if you want to see that live here on stream. Yeah, drop 1s, guys. I need to see who wants a prediction based on math on stream. I'll walk you guys through it. I'll show you what I'm doing, and we'll do it together. Let me just get this going here. Sweet. I'm seeing some 1s. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, yeah, we're doing it. 6, 7, 1, 1, 1. All right, we're doing it. All right, let me just pull up the. Let's see. I think it's just got to figure out which email I put it into. I think it was. No, I gotta go to. Hold on, guys. I'm in the wrong email. Give me 1 second here. Okay, let's go to this one. And let's do. Okay, gonna share the screen. Share screen. All right, let's see how this looks. Cool. Hopefully my URL's not up there. Okay. So this was, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. Oh God. How do I zoom in? I can't even remember how to do this stuff anymore. It's been so long. All right. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to the, I got to reshare my screen. Sorry, guys. stop screen, present, and share again. We're going to go to the window, entire screen. Let's do this. Sweet. So let's go to info. So this is how I did it, guys. So I went to info.uniswap.org, which is the Uniswap front end for all the data that comes through the V3 exchange. And then you want to come up here to the top at V2, because V3, with its concentrated liquidity, you can't really take these data points and do this kind of prediction. That's just, as far as I know, it's impossible. So what we're going to do is we're going to type in HEX. It's actually pretty simple to do this. Let's see. So there's 9,043,9043559. So we got to go in here. So we go 90. Oh, hold on. I forgot already. 9043559. Oh, 9043559. Right. 59. Cool. And then 434.5421. 4345421. Oh my God, my memory is just terrible right now. 434. Okay, there we go. 4345421. Okay, and price of HEX is 8. And the price of ETH is, what is the price of ETH right now? 1675. 1675. Boom. Okay, so all I'm doing here, guys, is you put in the pool side X, which is HEX, and pool side Y. You put the tokens in either side, and you put the price of each token. Now this gives you a ratio of X to Y. Okay, and of basically this is how many tokens you get for. It's the ratio of how much one HEX gets to ETH. It's like 0.000004. So this here is a square root. So in order to get 1.2 million X, which is what I believe the multiplier will be for injection into the pools to accommodate for the supply difference in Pulse to ETH, you basically have to take the square root and divide one side by the square root, which is HEX, or I believe, and then you have to multiply the other side. And if we come down here to Pulse, let's see here. HEX PLS ratio is, so I've actually come down a lot. Let's see here. Is this right? I believe this is right. So at the moment, we're about 4.4x from sacrifice rate. It's changed a lot, actually. It's changed a lot. So if you can see this, 0.0004 is the current maths. And let me just make sure everything's good here. 1675.08. Yeah, that should be all good. So that's currently what it's showing, which is interesting because that's about 3 times lower than what it showed last time. Super interesting. But this is just speculative, super speculative. So don't take this as the price, because that changed dramatically since the last time I did it. So we'll see, guys. I have no idea. I divide the current with price by 1 million and usually get close to prediction launch, but I don't know if that's the right way. I wonder. Divide 16. Let's go. So 1675 divided by 1.2 million. 0.001395. Okay, so maybe I did something wrong on the math side. Yes, this is why I don't do math live on stream, guys. Cool. So let's see. Alex Santos says, thank you, man, for the education in your videos. Thank you, Hex community. Hey, my pleasure, man. My pleasure. And Hexkin, what is up? Yeah, I know. Not even Richard knows what to say on that front. Nobody knows. It's just fun math to try and pretend like we know. And, if someone actually does manage to call it, it'd be pretty crazy, but I don't think that's possible. I can't imagine it's possible. Okay, so what else we got on the agenda here? So we could talk about, V3. Let's go to Twitter, actually, and let's observe what's been happening with Richard Hot, and if we're getting close to V3 or not. Give me one sec, guys, and I will just switch everything over here, share screen. Let's go to Twitter. Let's see. Richard Hart. Also, if you haven't clicked the bell and you're not following him, please do. I don't know when this stuff's going to go live, but you don't want to miss it. And also, shout out to Richard for changing back to true to himself instead of doing the outrage marketing. I understand why, but shout out. I appreciate it. I love it. Good to see it. Anyways, not trying to make this about that at all here. Let's go back to some of these tweets here. He has been like, look at this. V3 coming soon. Where is it here? That was March 15th. So was it yesterday? Yesterday. Let's see. There's another one somewhere around here as well. But like, guys, look how much he's been tweeting. Okay. So my speculation is he is not nearly as needed on the back end at the moment because they're close and things are getting finished. And it's a speculation. So please don't take this literally because I think this is probably wrong at the end of the day. But this is my speculative thoughts is that he's tweeting more. He's getting hype. He's changing his tune because there's about to be a lot of exposure on him, HEX, PULSECHAIN, and he's changed his message. He has changed his look. He's changed his website, and he's getting prepared for the bigger names, the more professional names who will possibly want to invest, in HEX, PULSECHAIN, PULSEX, the whole ecosystem. And I think he's getting prepared for the launch. And so I really don't think we're that far away. I really don't. And I don't know how far off we are from that, but I would say, in my opinion, in my opinion, I'll come back to that, Warfield. In my opinion, we're pretty close. We're pretty close. I think we're like a month or two away from V3, and I think we're 30 plus days away from Mainnet after that. Maybe less, maybe more. Impossible to say. Yeah, I mean, look at this. Alan even saw V3 hiding behind a highway sign, so it's close, man. It's close. It's creeping up on us here. It's stealth. We can't even see how close it is, but it's close. Gives us glimpses every once in a while. Warfield, to your question, according to your arguments, your move with pre-bridge ratio trading is no move at all due to uncertainty for the majority of users. That's what I'll say. If you're looking to just kind of send it, as I'll say, just go full send and throw in your dollars, then I would really advise, and I wouldn't advise anything, but I would really strongly consider not making a move that could go back against you very quick. We don't know what's going to happen, and it's really easy to make a wrong trade and get screwed. It's so much easier to make a bad trade than a good trade when all you can see is ratios. Because the point of relativity is supposed to be the dollar, but when we don't have a point of relativity between all associated pools or all pools on PulseX, then we don't really know how they all relate to one another. So I would just say be careful. If you know what you're doing and you have a plan, you know why you're doing it, and you have an exact timing for it, and you understand the why behind every move you're making, hey, man, do your thing. Do whatever you think is best. But I just think be careful. There's so much that can go wrong in the pre-bridge side of things that it's just sketchy. Sketchy, man. I wouldn't suggest it for anyone who's new. Let's see. Good question. I haven't heard anyone talk about that. Pulse Ramp and Power City. Right. Okay. Yeah. But we don't know what testnet they're going to be working. Is it Gurley or whatever it's called? I can't remember. I'll have to look into that. Yeah, I mean, nobody's talking about Hedron. I mean, Sloth's out here just like shouting from the rooftops, I mean, I think 99% of his channel or anything he's ever mentioned has been about Hedron or icosa. I mean, we got lots of people. We got Access Alive come out and talk about it. We got Wales Only's constantly talking about it. Even if you listen to his streams, when someone brings it up, he's like, there's a reason I don't talk about it on this channel because it's a hidden gem, or I can't remember what he says, but basically he's like, that's your hint. And he's like, there's a reason I'm not talking about it because it's such a sweet deal. I would check it out. I would keep checking out. And if you have info on Hedron, hey, talk about it, man. You share. I got the crypto Bible. You can go buy the Amazon book. You can give it out to friends, get them educated on it. Like, this stuff is going to come to life sooner than everyone thinks. You know, it's not going to be a forever thing when these prices are low, in my opinion. The system is built very, very well, and it just needs time. It just needs time. Also, Sloth, good to see you, bro. Thanks for coming. Good to see you too, Millie. Glad to see so many familiar faces in here. I have been well. Like I said, I'm glad to be back. I'm very, very glad to be back. In order of here's a question about EHEX, PHEX, PULSEX, and PLS in order of what you like the most. Mine is PLS, EHEX, PLSX, PHEX. That is tough, only because depends on time frame. I mean, I like all of them equally. I think I'm personally, because I didn't get in the Pulse sacrifice, I am going to rank PLS for myself, my own prioritization, as probably the lowest because I don't have any and I'm not willing to sell PulseX or HEX or anything else to get it. So I'll probably be prioritizing that the least. I actually just think that whatever you like, holding assets, holding my assets or your assets is what is important, and don't necessarily think that because the new thing is coming out that you should dump the other thing. I mean, maybe that's a play, but it doesn't always need to be. So I guess if I was to rank it short term, I would say PLSX and HEX on PulseChain are probably tied, and then I got PHEX and Pulse probably tied. So it's like first and second both have tied positions on them for me. But honestly, it's like they're basically all first. You can't make a bad decision, you know, in any order that you choose there. They're all so close. It's like I would say they're all within like a 10,000th of each other. If it was a race, they'd all be within a 10,000th of each other off the lead. So slot the money grabber. Yeah. Let me just see if I had any more questions coming in here. According to let's see. Let's go to this one. Warfield had a lot of good questions today. So what's your view on the differences between incentive structure in HEX and icosa staking? No bonuses for staking icosa versus 360 versus 90. No penalties for overtime in stake. Actually, though, there kind of is implicit staking penalties in icosa if you're not staking. I mean, this is just in the hyperinflationary period. And I don't know how this is going to translate down the road, but with icosa, there kind of is a penalty because right now, if you don't restake immediately when your stake is done, you have so many less stake points than you should. You know, because of the like 160% yield that we've seen so far, or somewhere around that, anyways, 166%. You will basically be more than doubling your stake points, probably almost tripling, you know, in some cases by the time the stakes are done. So, especially for some of the bigger stakes. So, restaking or not restaking, you're basically shooting yourself in the foot and you're basically keeping yourself at the same rate you were at when you finish your stake. And you're also getting yourself even further diluted from there, even though you could have yourself increasing in position and gaining back the same share or close to, or probably close to that you originally had. And as people sell out of the system, you're likely to actually gain a position in the pool and maintain the proportion of the yield you had maybe in the beginning. So that's food for thought there. I think I'm not so sure that icosa will have that same effect in the long run, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. It's hard to say. The incentive structure in HEX and icosa staking, I mean, they're just different animals. You know, I don't think it just depends on the way the systems bond together. And if icosa is very, very difficult to get in the future, then that's going to incentivize using Hedron to get icosa and using icosa to get Hedron, because the thing is too is that the T share is always going up, and so it's the amount of icosa that you get from a single T share max length is always going down. So at some point, 90 icosa or 19 or like 100 icosa can only be retrieved from the HSI buyback function. And when this happens and yields really low, like after 360 days, there's no guarantee of any yield whatsoever. So getting one icosa could be really difficult, which means gaining a percentage of a T share through icosa could be extremely difficult. So, and I don't think they compete necessarily. I think that Hex is obviously the OG. It's the ground floor. It's what makes everything tick. Without Hex, none of that exists. And so, why? I don't think you can really compare them in the sense of which one's better. But like, let's look at it like this: the main incentives for Hex are you stake, you gain yield, or let's say you burn, or whatever we're going to use as the verbiage. You burn your hex for a portion of the pool that receives the yield, and the incentive is to stake longer to maximize T shares within the system. Now, I've actually released a paper. I don't think it's out anymore. It used to be out. It was called the T-share maximalization methodology, and it spoke about the long-term incentive of holding icosa and hedron, and how icosa and hedron both have. Now, I like Sloth's terminology here of like iShares. I kind of want to add like an H share to it, because 5.555 million hedron, whenever the ceiling is reached, if that ceiling is reached, is always going to be redeemable for a T share. So that's static. icosa is always decreasing in the amount of icosa it takes to redeem for a T share, or how much a T share is redeemable for, and at the ceiling, how much they're cross redeemable for. So really, Hex gives you hedron. Hedron gets you icosa. Icosa gets you more icosa and more hedron. So really, the incentive could fall back to get you more Hex. If you're playing this system right, why would you not use your icosa that you don't think you need to stake again to not pour back into Hex, to get more Hex, to get more hedron, to get more free tokens? This is like a perpetual free passive reward system if you do it right. And then the more hedron you gain, you don't have to stake it all. You can use that to get more Hex. And so I don't think the incentives necessarily they kind of work together in a way. And I think we just need time to see them come to fruition. So I hope I'm making sense. It's kind of hard to relay all of it just off the cuff here, but I hope that made some sense. Thank you, sir, for the $1.99. Hex equals Bitcoin, icosa equals ETH, hedron equals Hex. Not sure I completely follow you on that one. I'd probably need you, if you can explain that, because I don't want to go off and say, yeah, you're wrong. But if you explain that to me better, let's talk about that maybe a little bit more, and then I could understand kind of why you're saying what you're saying, and then I could digest that and go over it. But thank you for the $1.99, Mr. Electric. I appreciate you. Thank you. Stake icosa and hedron if you want more dollar yield for your initial dollar value. Exactly. And it's not going to last forever. Not going to last forever. Cool. So let me just see if we have any more starred questions here. Is there anything else that I'm missing that's been happening in the ecosystem that we need to talk about, guys? I know it's been a minute since we've really talked about anything on the channel. Let's see. We've got PulseX. Nothing's really changed there. We've got icosa, we've got hedron. Yeah, if anyone's got any questions, I think we could probably wrap up this stream fairly soon. If anyone's got questions, toss them into the chat. Also, guys, so I realized that at the end of the Crypto Bible, there was supposed to be a link for if anyone felt called to do any donations. And I basically, I don't know how it happened, but the PayPal account associated with that got like locked. So the link doesn't even work. So if you feel called to donate at any point in that book, the new version has it that I updated today, today. But there's a link in there's the donation address in the description. If you've read the book and if you were trying to donate and you'd like to donate, there's a link in the description for this video, which you can grab, but no pressure. Just throwing that out there. Just wanted to make it known that I did mess that up, and it's there if you want to do it. But enough about that. David says, what are your top 5 ERCs other than HEX that you would consider holding once Mainnet launches in order to purchase more PulseX and PulseChain? That's a good question. I guess you'd have to look at which tokens have I don't think I could tell you what what tokens, because I don't really look at other tokens, to be honest. I look at them a little bit, but I don't really pay attention to them unless I'm really grabbed by them, and none really have outside of this ecosystem, which is the reason why I only talk about what I do. So I would give you criteria that could be an alternative to an actual token, if you will. So if you wanted to look at something outside of HEX. Now, this is what I would look at. I would look at what tokens are going to be most likely supported on PulseChain, and what tokens are also going to have very, very thick liquidity when PulseChain goes live. Now, the reason I'm saying you want thick liquidity is if other people have the same idea as you want the liquidity to be able to absorb the sell pressure, so that way the price doesn't tank on you before you can swap for PLSX or PLS. So if you find a token that you think would be an alternative that maybe a lot of people aren't going to sell, then maybe that's the token. If it's got a lot of liquidity, doesn't seem like the community, it seems like it's going to be supportive, but maybe there's not not a lot of active engagement on it. And that's what I would do. I don't think I have 5. I think I would just have criteria, that I would look at to hold a token specifically for that purpose. The risk there also, because there are risks to everything, there's trade-offs, is if you hold that token, how likely is that token going to go up or down in value or stay the same? Are you holding something that is likely to tank in the event of a macroeconomic shift of some sorts? Are you like, if you hold something else and it goes down, you may have far less purchasing power than you did if you held the thing that everyone else held, like HEX, for example. And this is just an argument. This doesn't mean this is right. This doesn't mean anything other than just an argument for or things you have to be aware of, in my opinion. Yeah, you have to look at how likely you think it is that the price is going to stay the same or go up in value, versus the thing that, like HEX, for example, or like the candidate, whatever you deem that is. That would be my way of not saying top 5, but if you were to look at top 5 to be holding for Mainnet in order to purchase more PulseX and PulseChain, that would be what I would be doing if I was going to do that. But again, that's what I would be doing. So I don't have top 5. So sorry for not being able to answer that, but also I just can't. I can't do it. Oh yeah, this would be sick. I was talking to TG last night actually on a RH Max stream, and I want to get together with him. We want to do some maths, some moon maths, and look at what could possibly be happening with all of these numbers and what that might look like. That'd be fun to do on stream, actually. It'd be really fun to do on stream. Late 28, when Van City meetup and book signing. Oh, dude, I've thought about that. I'm not exactly sure what I would like to do yet. In terms of like, what I would want to do. I would love to do like almost like a day event, like a meetup, do like maybe some like go-karting, I guess if people want to do a book signing, that'd be cool. I mean, book signing, like go-kart, maybe even do like a day of crypto talking, like do like a presentation, make kind of like an event of it. But I'm trying to figure out what the logistics of that might look like. If you're listening to this right now and you're in the Van City area or you're around Vancouver, or would you even be willing to come over for an event if you're like, let's say down in like Seattle or something like that? Drop a comment, or just drop a comment and let me know. Like even drop a 1 if you'd be interested in doing like a meetup or something like that. And I've been thinking about that for a while, but I just haven't gotten around to doing it. I think it'd be super fun. We can make a vlog out of it. We can make some fun content and just have a rad time. So yeah, drop a comment or drop a 1 in the chat if you'd be down. I'd love to. Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, Richard Hart's or RH Max is over in Seattle, so maybe I could just jump over. Anyways, I don't want to say too much on stream here, but I'm getting a lot of ideas just even talking about this. So that's a cool idea. But so thanks for that. And Danny boy, yeah, that would be rad. I would love to do a meetup as well. So if you're into it, we got 2 people. I've heard a few more people interested. We'll see. I'll see what I can put together here over the next while. No promises, but I've been thinking about it a lot. Give me 1 sec here. I just need some water. Warfield again. What's your strategy on de-risking into cash reserves? Just selling when the market is overheated, using some LPs to generate cash flow, getting a loan of your crypto, too risky. Well, I think there's different strokes for different folks. I think actually Maddie Allen was the one who pointed me to this direction, which is DCAing on the way up as well, like, but dollar cost averaging out. And I love this idea because you're admitting that you don't know when the top is. And the thing that I'm uncertain about with the whole idea of like cash reserves is what the system's going to look like in the future. So it's really hard for me to have a plan with cash because I don't know what cash is going to look like in a year or so. You know, I really don't have a clue, like not a clue. So into cash reserves, I don't know. There's maybe an alternative, and that's going to be determined. But for de-risking the cash reserves, like as the price goes up, maybe DCAing out, taking a percent or two or three or four or five or whatever you think you want to do. That's a good bet. I think that's a great way to pull money out consistently. And then you're having your, if anything happens, it's crazy. Like, let's say we're expecting, everyone's like, oh, we're having another 6 more months of a bull run. And you're like, okay, cool. I'm going to wait like 5 and then try to cash out. Well, what if everyone's wrong and in 2 months it tanks? Well, you've just missed your opportunity. And even if you're up like 20x or something like that, that's great, but that's not like the moon numbers you were seeing before, where you could have cashed out. Now, number 2, using some LPs to generate cash flow. Yeah, you definitely could do that. Now, LPs are something that you're going to have to maintain a little more consistently. And again, I'm going to put this as a disclaimer out there. I understand the theoretics of LP, and I've never done it though. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you exactly why or why not you should do it. But from my understanding of it, and I would love to bring someone like Access or even Sloth on to really educate what the ins and outs of everything actually are outside of the theory, because there's far more that experience can ever bring you than just technical knowledge and theoretical knowledge. So what I will say is my understanding of this is you need to, if you know what you're doing, which sounds like you're quite on your way, using some LPs to generate cash flow if you have a significant position and you're not worried about which side, about what number of tokens you have on either side of the pool, could be a great way to generate some cash flow. Especially if you're looking to not sell and just have like a more moderate, well, I don't want to say more moderate lifestyle, but if you're looking to, because the gains that you're going to make on your bag are going to be far more than you're going to get on the cash flow, right? But if you can generate your lifestyle based on cash flow, or just maintain whatever lifestyle you want using the cash flow and not sell, hey, that's an awesome option as well. I think that's maybe something you can do in conjunction with cashing out to kind of offset your gains. So you're DCAing out, and you're also using some bit of your portfolio. This is all if you have the ability to use enough to generate cash flow using LPs, to generate, which is liquidity providing, of course, to generate cash flow. Getting a loan in your crypto, if we're talking about the third part now, I love the idea of being able to do it. I love the idea of being able to take your crypto, your assets, and use them as collateral in one specific condition. And I'm gonna lay the ground floor of this out for you guys, so you understand why I'm saying what I'm saying here. Why would you take a loan on something without ever intending to pay it back and having your collateral locked forever? Because that means you have to find a way to sell something else or earn money somewhere else. So basically, you have to sell something else. You either sell your time or you sell your assets in order to pay that loan back. In my opinion, like, why would you do that? I don't think that makes a whole lot of sense unless it's like a relatively insignificant amount of money, you know, and you're not too worried about it. I mean, sure, you could probably justify it, but still, like, why would you do that? It doesn't make sense unless you're using that money to take a loan. And this is not advice. This is just my thoughts on when it makes sense, but I still am leery about it. I like the idea of having it available, but I'm still like, I don't think it's necessarily a good idea unless you really know what you're doing. Um, when it comes to using these loan protocols, unless you're planning on using that money, in my opinion, to generate income from or generate an ROI on an investment, why would you use that loan if you're just going to put yourself in the hole? Like, use those funds to get yourself further ahead and not behind. That is the way I am going to be approaching the whole, like, liquid loans or Power City with PulseX, even Liquidity, even I guess even the whole collateralization of like a HEX stake with Hedron. If you're not going to put the loan to use, it's dangerous. And as Ted's saying, it is a taxable event when you liquidate. If you're letting yourself get liquidated, it is a taxable event. I've looked it up for Canada, and I'm pretty sure the US, and loans are not taxable events until you get liquidated. So again, this isn't tax advice. This isn't like advice on why or why not to do something, but this is all just reasons why you need to go and look up and research these protocols. You got to really think about what it means to take out a loan. Are you going to ever repay the loan? What happens when you don't repay the loan? Like, these are all big questions that have to be asked before participating in something like this. How are you going to use those funds? Are you going to keep them in crypto? Are you going to remove them out? How are you going to bring the funds back? Like, is it going to be easier to bring the funds back than it is to take them out? Like, just lots to think about here. Lots to think about. Appreciate that, Crystal Zeth. Appreciate that. I hope you guys are learning something from this. There's just lots of stuff that I've been thinking about. So I'm glad we can all talk about this together and share ideas. And also where did he go? Oh man, I had Warfield. Hope that answered your question. I hope that answered your question. Let's see here. I had this question that came in. I want to answer this before we keep going. And David, no sweat. Hope that answered everything sufficiently for you. Leocadio Tejada? Is that I'm saying it right? Hello, when PulseChain goes live, will I still have to buy Ethereum on my MetaMask to swap for Pulse, or will I be able to buy Pulse directly from my MetaMask? You will be able to most likely, okay, when PulseChain goes live, there's going to be a window of time where there is no outside purchasing of Pulse. You will only be able to scoop up Pulse, the token, if you have tokens on the network already. Because what needs to happen, actually, I'm going to bring up my book or I don't know if I have that in the book. Maybe I don't. Basically, Ethereum will not be connected to PulseChain for about 24 to 48 hours. So we've heard. It might be more or less than that now, but that's the last we've heard. And so really, if you want to buy PulseChain when it goes live, you need to have tokens on the Ethereum network, and you need to swap the tokens pre-bridge, which again, I don't advise. But if you're doing post-bridge, meaning Ethereum or PulseChain has been connected to Ethereum and to the centralized exchange that we've heard rumors of existing, then there's a few ways you could do it. You could, depending on if MetaMask allows it, there may be an option to just buy buy Pulse on MetaMask. I don't advise doing that. I really don't, because the MetaMask fees are so expensive and it doesn't really make sense. I have a tutorial on how to buy HEX on my channel, and I would recommend watching that. The only thing you would need to do would be to switch networks on that channel, or on that on the tutorial of how to do everything, and switch from basically whatever tokens you have on the network to Pulse. I hope I'm making sense here. I may have butchered that a little bit, but yes, you could do that, but you may want to just use PulseX or a decentralized exchange to get cheaper fees, because you might eat a bunch of fees, like 0.875 or something like that, versus 0.3% fees. So just be mindful of that. You can also email me too, and go to my website, cryptographics.com. Fire me an email, and I can send you a few more resources, because I definitely want you to be prepared. I want everybody to be prepared for PulseChain. So yeah, hope that answers it roughly. Let's see. Shane, come on, man. It's not that far. I'm seeing lots of ones, man. Hey, if everyone else is making it, it's the Porsche or the trip. You got to decide. You can only get one. Inside joke. Sorry, everybody. Let's see here. Question about PLS test 2B. Why is there different ERC20 tokens for the same, like wrapped ETH and wrapped PLS? So ETH and PLS are not ERC20 tokens. They are not. They are a different the type of currency on the network that cannot be exchanged in a liquidity pool without being wrapped in a smart contract. So this is why you have wrapped ETH and wrapped Pulse. Pulse on its own is used to pay for gas. So is ETH. But that same currency, until recently with the ETH pools, actually, I would have to check to see if ETH in the pools is wrapped ETH. But until recently, you couldn't have, or wrapped ETH and wrapped Pulse were the only way to swap, as far as my understanding goes. And I hope I'm not butchering that. I always feel like when I explain something, I kind of hear myself talk, and then I'm like, I feel like I need to learn a little bit more about it. But basically, there's the way that these tokens are able to be swapped is through wrapping them first. Will be a wild world if gold is more stable than cash in 2 years. Just look at how degen the stock market moves were today. I know. We'll see, man. We'll see. Man, I tried to swap some USD icosa for USDC on Uniswap, and it cost me gas fees twice. What am I doing wrong? Well, the first one is always the approval. The second one is the actual transaction fee. I don't think, yeah, if you approved it once, then you did the gas fee. That's actually correct. You have to do that for any exchange that you use. There's an approval to use the tokens, and then there's a transaction fee for gas as well. Oh, I think I'm way behind on the. Damn it, Shane. Damn it. I thought we were closer than this. Fine. Okay. Well, I hope you enjoy your Porsche. Let's see here. I know that you don't consider yourself a TA guy, but on which levels you place your bets on HEX top prices, or where you start DCA out of liquid HEX icosa during the overheated phase? That's a tough one. I'm not a TA guy. My claim to fame is I actually did call a drop in HEX price, and I tweeted about it. And actually, just because, why not? I'm gonna see if I can pull it up here, just because I want to be that guy. This is my only claim to fame with calling anything ever on when it comes to TA. Let's see if I can find it. This might take a minute. It was a reply to a Jenkins tweet. Let's see if I can find. I might have to go ways back here. It was like, let's see. I may have to find this on another day. But basically, there was a point where there was one tweet I made where I was actually like stoked on it because I could see a head and shoulders forming when I didn't see many other people talking about it, and I actually called it, which was cool. I kind of knew that was going to happen, but I didn't want to be public about it because I'm not a TA guy. So that's my only claim to fame. And bottom line is, don't trade. Don't trade. Don't trade. I know you don't consider yourself TA, but on which levels you place your bets on HEX top prices, or where you start DCA out of liquid HEX icosa? Man, I would start to just watch sentiment, as prices start to rise above previous all-time highs. I would start to think that, maybe that's the point when DCAing out could be the play. Or, you know what? I would even say that now that we're speaking of it, I don't necessarily know that waiting for a specific price target is the way that I would do it. I would look at your gains, or look at my gains, I should say. I speak for myself here. I will be looking at my gains and seeing proportionally, okay, when I hit, let's say 10x or 25x or 50x or 100x, like all the different X's, when am I going to be pulling funds out? Not what price is it going to be? When am I going to, at what X targets am I going to start to remove a little bit of funds? And that's the way I would start to look at it versus, what price targets. But there's probably a combination of both. When price hits a certain point, I think that once it starts to get above all-time highs, because that's what, a 4, 5, 6, 7. It's like a 7x basically from here. 7, 8x. Once we get to that point, I think then we're on the hunt for some seriously good stuff coming. And at that point, everyone's doing 7, 8x. That's pretty good gains. Maybe for you, maybe for someone else, maybe for me, that's appropriate to start taking stuff out. But I think I'm more interested in the X's involved with what I want out of it before I start pulling stuff out versus just waiting for price, in my opinion. But again, I'm not a technical analysis guy. This is not something I actively think about as far as what point, but these are good things to think about. Let's see here. Question graphics. How can we find data on how much icosa is currently being staked? We can go to HEX model. Shout out to Dev Huey. And we can go to the icosa tab. And once this loads, let's see here. There's currently staked icosa is 37.5 million. And the stake points are currently 152 billion. And so again, hexmodel.com, that's the place to go. I'm going to put it in the chat. Hexmodel.com. Sweet. All right. Yeah, I sent 2 messages approving use and paying gas fee, but I haven't received NUSD. Blocker Sport shows it as a success too. Maybe just like refresh your browser or something. I don't know. Maybe. That seems very strange. Seems very strange, man. Fire me an email because we're gonna end this stream pretty quickly here. I'm gonna wind this down, get an hour and a half mark. But fire me an email. Go to cryptographics.com or just send me an email at there should be like a link at the bottom, like a contact me page or something like that, or about. I can't remember which one it is. Fire me an email and I'll help you get that figured out. Let's see. DM, welcome to the stream, my friend. Just tuned in. Apologize if the question was already asked. How do we transact on PulseChain if our airdrops are in a hardware wallet? You're gonna want to use MetaMask as a front end. I have a video on my channel that shows you how to use your Ledger or Trezor. Really, it's the same thing with MetaMask as a front end to be able to engage the with the DApps on PulseChain. So go check that out. And let's see, Moonmut, thank you, sir. Hope all is well with you as well. I appreciate that. Let's see here, Green Puriston. Is it when PulseChain goes live, you get a duplicate of your ETH tokens, or the snapshot has been already taken? You don't get ETH tokens on the duplicate. You get Pulse on the duplicate for ETH, but those are going to be diluted immensely. So like 300,000 ETH is going to get you like $30 in Pulse or something like that. Well, 30 cents, I think it is, or 30. I can't remember what it is. It's tiny. It's super tiny. Anyways, though, I think that's all that we're going to go over for the stream. If anyone has any final thoughts or anything like that, you can toss them up now. If not, I'm going to shill some stuff real quick. So again, guys, we've got the book that just came out. There is the free download on the website, cryptographics.com. I'm going to put it in the chat here. I also offer, if you want to learn from me directly, you want to talk strategies personalized for you for PulseX, Pulse, Hex, Hedron, icosa, you can go to my website as well, and you can book a one-on-one call there, and we can work together to get some strategies put together for PulseChain or whatever else you're looking to do. There's a free book on cryptographics.com. It's got so much information. Go look at that. It's downloaded for free. There's also the Amazon version, which I will put a link to in the chat as well. And let me just go there right now. And please, guys, if you do decide to buy this book, please, 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 or not. You guys, if you don't want to buy the book, that's cool. What I would love, because this helps everybody out, the more people that know about PulseChain, PulseX, Hex, Hedron, icosa, the whole ecosystem, and the more people that are educated on blockchain, the better. It helps everybody out, brings more funds into crypto, helps more people out. This is the link here. Go do that. If you'd like to even leave a review, that'd be huge, guys. Even a review would be amazing. Let's try. I would like to get this book on the front page of Amazon for when people start talking about crypto or looking for crypto books. Like Crypto Slaw says, buy it. Pump the numbers up. I would really appreciate that. I really appreciate that too, Ted. Glad to be back. I haven't really focused on Desi at all. Let me look at some stuff, and the next time we stream, I will go over Desi and even maybe Pool Party because that looks pretty cool as well. But yeah, guys, also, again, there's a donation link in the description if you'd like to donate either for, you saw the donation link that doesn't work in the book, or you'd like to donate now. It'd be huge. Really appreciate it. I'm going to be looking into the events here in Vancouver, so stay tuned for that. And without further ado, guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for showing up. It's been so much fun to hang out with you guys again. I actually really missed it now that I'm back. So we're going to do a few more of these quite frequently. So without further ado, guys, thank you so much for being here. I'm going to play a little outro, and good night. We'll see you guys all very soon. Peace.